Welcome back, everyone. You now know enough about NumPy and images in order to have an assessment. This is just going to be a brief overview, essentially just making sure that you understood a few of the key concepts that we went over in the past few lectures. Let's go ahead and open up the notebook. It's called the NumPy and Image Assessment. And right after this, we also will go over the solutions to the assessment and the solution notebook. It's up to you, whatever approach you want to take. You can either just take the assessment on your own and then check against the solutions lecture, or just treat the solutions lecture as a code-along project. Okay, I'm going to go over the assessment now. Alright, so you can find the assessment underneath the NumPy and Image Basics folder. It's called 03-NumPy Image Assessment, and it's a notebook file. So your task is to just complete these tasks in bold below, and that's essentially the assessment. So you're going to need to import NumPy, and then we want you to create a 5x5 array where every number is a 10. So you can see the expected result should look something like this. Now remember, we showed you how to create arrays of zeros and arrays of ones. So if you have an array of 1, then you may be able to multiply it by a particular number in order to achieve something like this. So that's just a little hint for that. Then the next task is to run the cell below here to create an array of random numbers and see if you can figure out how it works. So again, just a quick review. We actually showed this in the lecture, but just to review, if you can check the documentation here to understand what this line is actually doing and how it's actually working. Then we want you to figure out what are the largest and smallest values in the array. Then we want you to use PIL, or Python Imaging Library, and Matplotlib to read and display the puppy image. So we actually did that in the lecture. Essentially just a very quick review of a lot of the stuff we did in the lecture. And then finally, we want you to convert the image to a NumPy array. Again, we showed that in the lecture, so just to check if you remember how to do that. And then the final task is to use slicing to set the red and green channels of the picture to 0, and then use imshow from the Matplotlib library in order to show the isolated blue channel. So in the previous lecture, we showed how to isolate the red channel. Now we want you to isolate the blue channel. It's going to be a very similar process. So this should be a very straightforward assessment, since it's basically just a repeat of a lot of the commands we showed in the previous 2 lectures. For future assessments, they're going to be a little more creative and not be directly drawn from the lectures as much. But since this is essentially just a warm-up section of the course, we want to take it easy for now. So just a few questions. You can always use the lecture notebooks for reference. Okay, coming up next, we're going to quickly go over the solutions to this assessment. We'll see you there.